Reopening Ontario Act is set to expire December 1st of this year. However, Sylvia Jones, the Solicitor General, tabled a motion the week before, 2 weeks ago at this point, to extend it to March. And so that will be debated and voted on within the next 4 weeks. So it looks like the goalposts are being moved yet again.
For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini at an undisclosed location here at a private event, and I have come across Belinda Karahalios. So she is an MP here in Ontario, MPP here in Ontario. And what brings you out to speak or be seen in the public here today at this event?
I wanted to show support to the individuals who were attending today about current situation in Ontario and really, quite frankly, the country and the world. And it was good to see so many like-minded individuals come here today to know that we're really not alone when it comes to all of this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The support and the showing of that support, I think, is really uplifting for people who do feel a sense of being alone and like they're alone in their thoughts. Now, most recently, it's come out about, the New Blue Ontario Party that you yourself and your husband, Jim Karahalios, have formed, and how there's some segregation happening within sort of the freedom movement, and namely Randy Hillier starting this division, I suppose, of the federal PPC party. Do you want to speak on what's happening there?
Yeah, it's a little confusing and disappointing. So, when I first got kicked out of caucus, the PC party in July of 2020, for voting against Bill 195, the Reopening Ontario Act, we had a lot of people approach us saying, you guys should start a federal party. And Jim and I were thinking, well, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, why would we start a federal party? There's the PPC. Let's not do that. Let's look at Ontario, the province that we're from and that we care so much about, and give Ontarians an option in the next election in June for an actual Conservative party. So we started the New Blue Party of Ontario. That was registered end of last year, so 2020. And we are, like, the Big Blue machine is up and running. We've got our membership portal, newblueontario.com. You can buy your memberships. Candidate portal is opening shortly. We've got a constitution, founding principles. We've got the whole thing. So when Randy came out last weekend saying he was starting a party, it was a little peculiar as to why, because he said on multiple occasions that he didn't want to lead a party. We've talked to him about New Blue. I mean, I was with Ezra a couple of weeks back, and I said, we could totally do a leadership. So, it really looks like Randy is controlled opposition, because there was no other reason why he would be starting a party, a few months out for election. By the time he's up and running with this party, the election is upon us, so it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's happening so soon, and I think there's a lot of people in the freedom movement that are saying, we need more than ever unity and to unify and come together. And it seems almost intentional that these splits and these divides are happening. I mean, can you touched on it a little bit, but do you think there's an intent there to harm the movement, to correct these restrictions?
Well, it does seem, like I said, like Randy is controlled opposition and working with the PC party. He never criticizes Doug Ford. He is not at the legislature. I mean, I'm very vocal. I'm at the legislature all the time. I have to go for the antigen testing twice a week in order to access it, because I won't discuss my vaccine status. I think it's nobody's business. And so I'm asking the questions, I'm debating, I'm voting, and I'm not missing these things. And I did so even while my husband was going through chemotherapy and getting better. So, I do question why Randy isn't at the legislature and why he isn't questioning Doug Ford. And because it's not just COVID policies that Doug Ford has gone hard left. It's everything. He's spending more than the Liberals before COVID. There is so much more to this than just COVID. And so, I stop and ask myself, and I would encourage others to also question that as well.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been saying recently that Ford is the new win. And so that kind of, it's funny because they start to mesh a little bit together visually, which I find just hilarious on my own. But looking toward the June election, what do you think, what kind of outcome can voters expect, or what are the polls looking like, or what do you expect them to start to look like here?
So we have over 100 riding associations registered with Elections Ontario. We're looking to get candidates in every single riding. I have a lot of hope. That people are waking up and they want an option. And it's not just people who are disenchanted with the PC party of Ontario. There are people who traditionally don't vote at all. It's former Liberals, it's former NDP. We have a lot of support from all kinds of different individuals across the province. And, I'm not going to count our chickens before they're hatched. I will be running again in the riding of Cambridge. I know Jim Karahalios, my husband, leader of the New Blue Party, will be running as well, obviously. And we'll see what happens. But, we've been working on this for a while. The train is running and we're going to keep going. So
great. Well, I wish you all the best. And then just, I guess, two more questions, but election time aside, the Reopening Ontario Act is set to expire in December, right? So what do you anticipate there?
Okay, so how much more time do we have? So the Reopening Ontario Act is set to expire December 1st of this year. However, Sylvia Jones, the Solicitor General, tabled a motion the week before, 2 weeks ago at this point, to extend it to March. And so that will be debated and voted on within the next 4 weeks. So it looks like the goalposts are being moved yet again.
To be expected. And I think one thing that I heard here at this private event was, are there shifting goalposts or are they just invisible? And so that kind of resonated with me. In closing, do you have a message? I guess you'll be doing call to actions. Do you have a message for your voter base, for people in legislature? Anything, if I could give you a platform.
Yes, so newblueontario.com. Stay up to date with what we're doing. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We will be doing a call to action with Bill 195 for the extension of the Reopening Ontario Act. But it's not just that. It's all the rubbish bills that the Ford government are putting forward for the next 4 weeks. So stay tuned, stay updated. Know that you have someone in the legislature that will speak on your behalf. And thank you so much for your support.
Well, there you have it. After talking to Belinda and giving her the opportunity to say exactly what she wanted, in the interest of fairness, I have also reached out to Randy Hillier to give him an equal opportunity to address this issue directly. Because we're not the CBC and we want you to have access to both sides of the issue so that you can make up your own mind. If and when I hear from Randy, I'll pose similar questions to him and give him a chance to answer them for himself. So stay tuned for that update, because you're about to see a free exchange of ideas that you won't see anywhere else. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. Here at Rebel News, we think that the unprecedented job loss and coercive tactics by employers, government, and health bureaucrats in pushing the vaccine uptake is one of the most concerning legal issues of our time. It's why we've launched a campaign geared towards stopping it, which you can find at fightvaccinepassports.com. And our litigants depend on the donations crowdfunded there to pay for the lawyers that defend them. None of these donations come directly to us. All of the money raised goes to the registered Canadian charity called the Democracy Fund, and legal defense strategized from there. These lawyers are engaged in active litigation in hopes of setting good legal precedents against these injustices. You can contribute if you're able and stay up to date with progress at fightvaccinepassports.com.